Is everybody fine, or we need a break or anything? You fine?
Let's go.
Fine, let's keep going. All right, so we're going to go back now to administrative item 8A, which is a review of the city council representatives to regional, county, and state bodies. Karen, let me know when you're ready.
Give a minute for the chamber to clear. Let's give a minute for the chamber to clear.
Okay.
A lot of interest. Okay, each year the city council reviews the regional boards that various members of the city council and the community represent the city on, and makes direct staff on what appointments will be made for the following year, for this year 2012. Attached to the item, there's a list of all the various county, regional, and state advisory bodies, as well as who is the current council designate, and whether or not there are current vacancies. If you remember that, well, there are some vacancies, but in addition to that, it is also up to the council on either affirming or changing the appointment of anyone who is currently representing the city on any of these bodies as well. In addition to the city council representatives, we do have one community member, Jim Golden, who represents the city on the mosquito abatement district. And in a separate agenda item on this council agenda, there's also a request to appoint someone to PAPCA, which is the Paratransit Advisory and Planning Committee. That would be for Joyce Jacobson. But right now, we're just asking you to look at the various city council representatives to the advisory bodies and to direct staff what to bring back for final action, which is usually put just on the consent calendar for the December 20th meeting.
Great, thank you. I see one correction on this list, I believe, which is the East Bay Economic Development Alliance. It says Brinkman, but if I'm not mistaken, it's Atkin who serves on that.
I checked that, but I don't have a record that that was made, but.
Oh.
Well, I think, hang on a second. I do go to the executive committee meetings of East Bay Economic Development Alliance, but I think, Kurt, you've been on a committee or something?
No, I've attended one or two of them, so.
Maybe you share that.
But the thing that I'm concerned about is I got on that through a mayor's conference appointment. It wasn't something that Emeryville had jurisdiction over.
Okay.
So it may be
body.
who is nominated for consideration by the mayor's council for that one.
It had nothing to do with me being an Emeryville rep. It was it might have been a North County position from the mayor's conference.
Who's got the answer?
All right, yeah. Hopefully East Bay EDA would know, but I don't know.
No, well, I
Well,
know
yeah.
it was a mayor's conference.
We can figure
appointment.
out the mayor's conference appointment later, but you still tonight you need to decide who you want to have as representative from this body.
So East Bay EDA has a member from every jurisdiction as well as additional members that are appointed then through the mayor's conference?
No,
No.
they don't have a rep from every jurisdiction.
But we get a rep there?
No,
Oh, we don't.
I'm saying I was the mayor's conference appointment.
So what are we
way back
voting
when.
on for that organization
Oh,
here?
wow. I thought each city was represented, but if that's not correct,
It's not,
then we should probably punt this one over to the next meeting and let us find out more information on that.
Okay, thank you for that.
Mayor West, I have a question on this Emeryville, Oakland JPA Appellate Council. We have in there that there's a vacant position on there. As I remember, that we only had 4 members on that appellate council. That's the way we set it up. We had 4 and Oakland had 3. They didn't wake up to that until, that's all right. So, delete that vacant there. There's just 4 members on that JPA.
And we'll just stick to the 4 members. We'll leave Jack out of that one for now. I don't think we've met, at least not in my 2 years on council.
No.
I haven't met in 12 years.
In 12 years, we haven't met. All right, well, then it's not that
And we don't
significant.
want to meet, but.
Excellent.
When
Could-
Catellus
could we-
comes forward with their big mixed-use project, then you'll have to meet.
Okay, thank you.
Could
We'll be
we
ready.
ask our new member if she
That
has
would be
any
one
interest in
project.
any of these positions?
I would also like to relinquish one of mine, so I'll put it out there, just so you know. The East Bay Division at the League of California Cities has been a great opportunity for me to meet other representatives from other cities, but in reality, I am not always able to attend, and Ken Bukowski actually would attend often for those dinners, so I would be happy to give up my position there.
Now, why does it say on our amended one, item 11, page 11 of 12, League of California Cities, it lists 2 vacancies, member and alternate.
Well, there are 2 different things for the League of California Cities. One is the annual conference, and we just appoint someone at that time. We designate someone for that conference. And the other is the East Bay Division, as
I
far as I
see.
understand it.
I see.
The division meets monthly, Mayor, is that correct?
Correct.
So can we approve this with, is Councilmember Asher going to step up and take your suggestion?
Well, there are a couple of them that, looking at my work schedule, along with my kind of areas of interest that I'm interested in. So I think that the Association of Bay Area Governments is one that I'm interested in, the Alameda County Housing Authority, and perhaps the Gilman Playing Fields Joint Powers Authority.
I would be glad to let you
I
have
knew
the
you
Gilman
would,
plan.
And I would be glad to let you have the housing authority.
You got Gilman.
Wow. You could at least be the alternate for ABAG. That would be fine with me.
Okay, okay.
Okay,
so let's-
So in terms of the housing authority,
Yes.
those are terms that are actually codified at a Board of Supervisors meeting, and my term ends in 2013.
Okay.
But I will submit a letter of resignation so that Emeryville can submit your name to the Board of Supervisors.
Thank you, Ruth.
Well, it's 8:00 on a Wednesday
Yes,
in
that's-
Hayward.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay, and so you have Gilman and the Housing Authority. What was the other one?
As the alternate for ABAG, is that right?
Yeah.
Alternate for ABAG.
The Gilman Playing Fields, I think that was one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nora already.
Okay, I would move that we direct staff to come back with those changes.
I'd second it.
Okay, since that was, may I just, hold on, make sure that I have this correct. So what I have now then is for AC Transit Emeryville Liaison is Davis and Atkin. ABAG is Atkin with Asher, the alternate. ACAP is the city manager. Alameda County Housing Authority, Councilmember Atkin will resign, and then we will put in a request for
Asher.
Asher to take her place. ACTC, the Alameda County Transportation Commission is Atkin with Brinkman as the alternate. The Paratransit Commission will be done at a separate agenda item. Lead abatement program is Councilmember Atkin as the member with the city manager designee as the alternate. Mosquito Abatement District continues to be served by Jim Golden. The East Bay Economic Development Alliance is going to be held over so we can determine whether or not that is a appointment done directly by the mayor's conference. The JPA Appellate Council, there's only 4 members, not a vacancy. So that will remain the same. The Gilman Playing Fields Joint Powers Authority will be represented by Councilmember Asher. The East Bay Division League of California Cities will still be represented by Mayor West.
Unless somebody else is interested.
And the alternate is vacant. And the League of California Cities, what's there now are the delegates from the last conference, but not the ongoing representatives.
So we could take those off because I think we just appoint them for
Yeah.
the next one. And you missed the Alameda County Waste Management Authority, which I would still
Sorry about
be
that.
honored to serve on.
And that is, yes, sorry, Mayor West as member and Councilmember Atkin as the alternate. Correct?
That sounds right to me.
And I hope you received on the dais the updated roster that includes the additional information that was requested. It includes
Thank
the
you.
stipends, if any, that are provided to members.
Thank you. Okay, then we will move on to the next item,
Probably took that.
which is similar but different. It is item 8C, which is the review of city council representatives to our local boards, commissions, and committees for appointments for next year.
B.
As I recall, and I'll just frame this
We did talk
discussion.
about that.
We had a discussion last year when we had this process about the idea of not always keeping the same positions on the same committees and having it maybe a 2-year flexible voluntary rotation of sorts. And Kurt and I were both in favor of that. So that leaves this wide open, but I will turn to the council members to.
I would say, Jack, is there anything that you'd like to have?
Are we talking about the advisory bodies at this point, or?
It's all of them. So it's
of
the
them.
city council subcommittees,
Okay.
the advisory bodies, which include members of the community, and then also the ad hoc advisory bodies.
I'm very interested in the technology committee.
I could step off that.
Okay. Thank you, Kurt. And also would be happy to serve on Public Works or Transportation or not.
I have served on the Public Works Committee, which I have greatly enjoyed and appreciated, but I am also interested in the Transportation Committee and would be happy to switch if someone was.
I think I'm on the transportation. I would love to be on the, switch with the, on that,
On
Oh.
Public Works?
public works.
So now what are you guys going to do?
Well, we're still figuring that out.
So West will go to Transportation, and Brinkman will go to Public Works.
That doesn't mean that Asher got either of those.
Huh?
No,
Oh,
I'm on technology.
sure.
you got technology.
Okay.
So advisory bodies?
Sure, let's move on to advisory bodies.
Bike ped.
You want that? They'll be delighted to see you there.
Will they be? Well, that's
Yeah,
good
that's
news.
good.
That's great.
I'd also be interested in finance, housing, or marina.
Well, I'd like to go off the Housing Committee, so Jack, why don't you go on that?
Okay. Thank you.
And
I'm on Marina, and I don't think we've ever had a meeting, unless I missed it.
once a year, yeah, in January.
It's coming up.
Maybe I'll keep
Your
that one.
meeting
Okay,
is
go
coming
ahead.
up.
It's just one.
Okay, so you're going to be on that, Jack?
No,
Oh, no,
I'm going to stay on.
Kurt
the-
wants
I'm
to
gonna-
stay
I'm
with
gonna-
the
I'm going to stay
Marina.
on the Marina tenant meeting.
Oh, okay, okay.
And Kurt, we flipped a coin 2 years ago for the Finance Committee, and
Do you want Jack to have?
I would be willing to offer, I think it's a very important committee, but I'd be willing to offer it to either one of you if that.
What do you think, Kurt?
Think about your time, and it's your choice.
I think I'd like to be on the finance committee. Yeah.
I'd be interested in the ECDC. I see there's a vacancy there.
Oh, great.
That'd be great.
That'll be Jennifer. No, she's on there.
It would be in addition to Jennifer.
Asher.
No, it was Nora.
I'm sorry, I didn't get the
Nora, you said E
ECDC.
ECDC?
ECDC.
And there's I don't know when this committee meets, but the I-80 pedestrian bike
Yes.
crossing has a vacancy, so I'd be interested in that.
Great. We almost
We almost
disbanded that committee, but
So
it
might
won't
be-
meet often, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, so maybe it'll meet as needed or
Right.
sporadically
Maybe
or
once the
something.
project is,
We really need to have, back me up on this, Steve, another council member on the fire safety task force.
I would like to be on that one.
Good. Right?
We have almost all the vacancy. No, community preservation has a vacancy.
How often do they meet, Nora?
Quarterly.
Okay, I'll be on that one too.
Okay, Jack on community preservation.
And
and,
then the ramp,
right, that's our last brand-new committee, the Caltrans Ramp Ad Hoc Advisory Committee. It was just birthed officially last meeting.
Nora and me, you want to be on that one?
Oh, good.
Notice the smile, so I figured you were hot to
Good.
trot.
Okay, we got them
Okay.
all filled in. Let's go with
Do.
what we have.
There was
Right.
just one thing that I wanted to ask as a result of Councilmember West and I talking about this. Are we missing the Park Avenue Committee from this page?
We have a page later that has
A
it, but it's not on
different
this list.
There are no council members on that committee.
Yes.
Ah,
That's why.
all right. So do you want to recap?
Okay, so my recap for the subcommittees are Davis and Asher, Brinkman and Davis, Community Preservation Committee is Davis and Asher, Public Safety is Brinkman and Davis, Public Works is Davis and Brinkman, Technology is Davis and Asher, Transportation is Davis and West, Bike Ped is Atkin and Asher, ECDC Advisory is West and Davis, Commission on Aging is Davis and Brinkman, Finance Advisory is Davis and Asher, Housing is Atkin and Asher, Marina is Davis and Brinkman, Public Art is Davis and Brinkman, Caltrans Ad Hoc, the ramp, is Davis and Brinkman, Fire Service Task Force is Davis and
you see a
Brinkman,
pattern here.
I-80 Bike Ped Crossing Committee is West and Atkin, and Zoning Update is Brinkman and Davis. And do I have a motion and
Good job.
motion and a second?
All right.
Was there a motion and a second on
A
that?
motion and second? Who would move that?
I move.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. And without exception, we will actually see that again next meeting.
Yes, we usually put that on the consent calendar, but, you know, if there was a mistake or someone changes their mind, of course, it can always be pulled.
Great. Thank you. The next item is the review of community member applicants to the various boards, commissions, and committees to make appointments for the next year. And I had asked the staff, although when I moved seats, I don't know what happened to mine, to put together a list so that it was easier to kind of make sure we had all the names. Here.
You want to look over my,
Sure, I'll look over
We'll
this.
share.
I know I had one. I don't know where I stuck it in here. So I will entertain, and I don't know if there's any public comment or anyone who would like to speak on any of these items. Would you like to come forward? Thank you. Thanks for sitting through our meeting.
Hi. So my name is Ra Adcock, and I applied for the Housing Committee. I'm new to the area. I have 2 young children, one at Anna Yates and one on the way. And we picked Emeryville on purpose to move because of this delicious combination of small town and big city. And I want to be involved. I have a background in nonprofits, community development, and economic development, marketing, and public relations. So I put in my application just yesterday. And I'd love to go tomorrow if I get on it. So.
Oh, that's right, the meeting is tomorrow. Okay, thank you. Anyone else who would like to speak? This item. All right, then let's have at it. Shall we take them one at a time? We have the Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Subcommittee, and we have 3 folks who have submitted applications, and I believe we have more than that in terms of vacancies. Am I correct?
that's my understanding.
Right, so I would move Svante Rodegard, Betsy, and David Kutzberg.
Second,
All right, without exception, we will make those appointments. Thank you for offering your time.
I'm sorry, Mary. Hang on a sec. We need
Okay.
to catch up to you.
No problem.
And
Mayor West?
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm looking at the roster here. It
Yes.
looks like there are, unless I'm, never mind. Didn't look at the back.
On the backside.
Look at the back.
Yeah, there are more.
Yeah, we have to talk about that because we were trying.
okay,
to
can we move ahead now?
You ready?
I am.
No.
Not quite.
Are we assuming that all of the current members who've asked to be reappointed are also being reappointed by these motions?
Do you mean for the BPAC committee?
Yeah, for any committee.
I
that-
know that at least we received an email that the BPAC committee was notified that if they were interested or not, and that's how we ended up with some vacancies. I
Right.
would like to clarify that with the other
But
committees.
all the rest of the committee members who are not listed as vacant have indicated they'd like to be
Yes.
reappointed.
These pages.
For that committee, that's what I understand. I'm not sure if that's true of all committees.
Right, but your motion you just passed appointed 3 new people, but you didn't explicitly reappoint the existing members.
Includes
I think that was
reappointments.
implicit, but we can make that explicit if
Yeah,
we
we
need to.
need to, yeah.
Can we just use these pages?
So I move the current members who wish to be reappointed to the BPAC.
Second.
Great, and with that exception, thank you for that clarification. Are you ready for us to move on?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
Sadly, there were no applicants for the Child Development Center Advisory Committee, which we have vacancies.
However, there is, Mary Ann Doan should be in here as the child care director. It says vacant.
Oh,
That
good.
should be written in there.
Thank you for noticing that.
Oh, I'm sorry, that is actually for someone who is a child care professional, not the.
Oh, not the director.
Yes, not the
She's the
director.
secretary up
Okay.
above, I guess. Okay.
Uh,
Next, the Finance Advisory Committee, then, we would reappoint, but those terms actually say that they go through 2013, so I'm not sure that we need to reappoint anyone for that.
Yeah, I had a question about.
Or which ones?
This is the Finance Advisory Committee.
Yes.
And my question was about staggering those terms, but I think we had
I had that
determined it
too.
was a 2-year term for members, but somehow they all ended up on the same year. If we wanted to be like our other committees, it would make sense not to have everyone terms end at the same time.
It was, you're talking about finance, right?
I am, although there was another one like that.
Yeah,
too.
there's another one with the same problem. I'm trying to find it.
Park Avenue's like that too.
So that's entirely up to the council as to whether or not you want to stagger them or just leave them as is. If you want to stagger them, then you need to think about, maybe adding a year to certain terms or.
Or you could deal with that when the existing terms come up in 2013 and just appoint
Yeah, public
people.
That would be fine.
Public art is the same way.
Right, public art also does not have staggered terms. Yeah.
I had a question about the Bike Ped Advisory Committee. That, were
Yes.
you appointing, in addition to the current members, all of the applicants? Because there are vacancies on that committee. There's 2 vacancies on Bike Ped in addition to the reappointments.
They will stay vacant.
Okay, that was my question.
Well, so what I see is that there are 2 resident vacancies, and there is one Works in Emeryville vacancy and one bicycle organization vacancy. And I'm not sure if these 3 are all residents, as I recall, or if one of them qualifies to either working in Emeryville or a bicycle organization.
They're all 3 residents, but I believe David Kritzberg is also employed in Emeryville. I'd have to double check
I'm
that.
looking at his
Yeah.
thing right now.
What do you see?
Let's see.
Any of these can always be held over if you have some questions, and we can
Well, so I think our intent is we would like to appoint all three, but we would like to clarify who might qualify for either the Works in Emeryville or the Bicycle Organization slot.
David's applying as a resident.
So could we ask staff to look into that, inquire, and get back to us for the next meeting?
He works in Oakland.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's move along.
All
if
right,
that's all right.
so if we can come back to, back to the Finance Committee. So the final decision there was that we don't need to do any appointments, and we'll discuss the issue of staggering when these terms expire.
Right.
Correct.
Yes. The Commission on Aging has no vacancies on my list, and so we don't have to do anything there. The Finance Advisory Committee, we've decided to continue. The Housing, oh, that's different. We don't need to worry about the Housing Advisory. But the Housing Committee is next, and we have 3 applicants for the Housing Committee. And what I would like to ask staff, or the staff support, is for the 3 whose terms end, was there any indication of whether they wanted to be reappointed?
Yes, they want to be reappointed.
Okay.
Anyone who's listed here anyone here that's listed as a term ending that the name is listed requested reappointment.
Okay, with the highlight.
Yes.
Highlight. Okay, thank you. So then we have 1 vacancy of someone whose term ends next. Oh, in
I would move Ra Adcock, who was certainly interested enough to come tonight, and
Yes.
she's a new member of the community.
I second that.
Sounds good.
without exception. Great, thank you.
Yay, Ra.
Congratulations.
See what happens when you just show up?
That's
a
the
lot of-
secret.
isn't it?
I want to see you tomorrow night.
Okay, then moving on to the Marina Committee, we have Eric Raff, who recently applied to be on that
Approval.
committee. And I'm just checking, I'm trying to find the page, but there are vacancies on that committee.
One resident.
Resident and a business rep.
Okay, so is there a second for that?
Second.
And any exception? Nope, it looks like that is another.
Hang on a sec, do you have that one?
You guys need a chairperson.
The Planning Commission, we are not considering now. That will be in the spring. And next is the Public Art Committee. Who can help me out with how many vacancies we have on that?
There are no vacancies.
There are no vacancies on the Public Art Committee, and we have 2 people who have applied to be on that committee. What is the will of council?
Well,
Wait a minute.
I have a preference
People
that
want
not
to be on.
everybody's term end at the same time. I'd like the idea of staggering terms here.
This is an opportunity here where you have all these terms ending at the same time. If the council wants to, reappoint some of them and stagger the terms, you can do that here. We would also have to, make some revisions to where it talks about terms of members, because I would assume you would either appoint some of them for, or you could just do a 1 year as opposed to 3 years. That might be a little bit too long. Just do some for 1 year and the others for 2 years. That's if the desire is to have staggered.
Mm-hmm. What's the pleasure of the council?
Could we expand the board by 2?
Sure, board.
We like to do that.
No, 'cause
Kurt, that would be my preference. I think that would be good to have new blood,
Yeah.
and that is the kind of a committee where if you add 2 more to that, to have 11, you still have a group that can have a lively discussion.
and we have a lot of
Good
people
work.
that have problems making all the meetings, so I
Right,
don't think that
right.
would really hurt.
So, is that, Kurt, are you
I'm making that as a motion.
proposing that we add 2 and
Add 2.
have Mariana and Samantha?
Yes.
Okay, I'd second that.
Could we indicate then that the 2 new members have terms that end in 2013, 2 years from now? And that we choose 2 others here or 3 others that would end in 2013, and then the others would end in 2012, just so that we don't end up with this configuration again where the entire committee is.
How about odd numbers and one and
Great.
even numbers do the other?
Great. So if you're an odd number on this list at this moment, you would be 2013, and if you're an even number, you would be 2012. And then we'll split our 2 new ones. Would that
That's
be
good,
fine?
that's good.
You
Move
okay with that,
approval of
Sharon?
that. Moving along.
So,
Do you want to speak to that, Sharon?
Sharon, you're you're listed on an odd number ranking here.
To be expected. No, I just don't. I didn't have a chance to look at the packet, so I don't know. I was just wondering who we have a meeting this week, and it'd be nice to know, to be able to tell people then what their terms are. So
Sure.
Okay.
Well, I could read that
odd is-
out, or we could make sure that for your meeting there's a list that's provided.
Okay. All right. Thank
We'll
you.
do that. We'll give you a list.
So do you want to tell us which of the 2 new applicants you want to go to 2013?
Both of them, right?
No, actually, since we did the odd even split, let's say Mariana would go until 2013 and Samantha would be 2012.
Very good.
All right.
Okay? Thank you. And moving on to the ad hoc committees, it looks like we have reappointments until we get to the Park Avenue District Advisory Committee.
Wait a minute, on the Caltrans advisory, Albert Rapola's name is spelled wrong. It's Repola. And we have it's vacant there, but wasn't Liz Altieri on that committee?
Liz attended one meeting, and I think Trudy, I can't remember her last name, was there as well.
Jim, what do you say?
Sharon's got a little mistake.
Please.
It's not a mistake, but I'm sorry. I've been out of town and a little distracted. But I know that with our committee, we usually suggest that somebody come to one of the meetings to see what it's like, and neither one of these folks, have been to a meeting just to know what it is. Some people have a perhaps preconceived notion of what happens at the meetings, and there's a lot more admin. And not the sort of process that goes on. So I just wanted to make that comment. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I think that's a really important comment, and I think the problem is the timing, that suddenly this sneaks up on us, and with the noticing, that needs to be said in September so that people have an opportunity, I think, to attend the meetings before this meeting in December, but I don't know what to say. Any other comments on that? Are you still comfortable?
Well, on this Caltrans ramp committee, would somebody contact Liz Altieri? I'm pretty sure she was in on the original formation of that. So if we could just contact her, and if she wants to remain on there, we'd continue it.
Okay.
one of the other things for this committee is that I assume that afterwards that the committee will vote on when their regular meeting and chair is. But at the time that this body was created by the council, there wasn't a set number of members of the public. So it was an arbitrary number of 5. It could be less than 5, it could be more than 5, but I just wanted to point that out to the council, that that was just a number.
Well, we'll let them come back with their recommendation. How about that?
Great, that sounds great. We do have, we have a business representative position vacant on the fire service task force, but no applicants at this time. And I'm going to move straight to the Park Avenue District Advisory Committee. We have had 3 folks who have applied for this committee, and the one vacancy is a business position rather than a resident position.
Mayor West?
Yes.
I believe there's a 4th applicant also, Lee Marymore.
Could you say that name one more time?
Lee, L-E-I-G-H, Marymore, M-A-R-Y-M-O-R, of Lunt Marymore, the plumbing company on 45th Street. I think we have an application from him as well. This vacancy is very recent. It just happened, a couple of weeks ago, and we actually advertised it. But we made the closing date December 30th.
Oh,
So there may still be people out there who might want to apply who didn't realize the appointments were going to happen tonight.
perhaps we should hold that item over, but consider those that are, I know that there's an issue on file. Consider everyone active until if we receive more
Right. Oh, right.
applications. That'd be fine.
Yeah, we were, if it's okay with you, we were planning to bring this back in January for you to make the appointment.
That's good.
Okay.
I did not get a copy of Lee Marymore, I don't believe, unless it was in today's packet. Did you guys get that?
It was literally just given to me till today, which is why the star is on your list,
Got
that
it.
we were going to request that you hold this over till January.
Oh, thank you.
One hand didn't realize that vacancy notice had gone out for the 31st as opposed to the others that were due before this meeting. So we thought it was just prudent to hold that one over.
Thank you for pointing out the asterisk that I missed. So then, if we're holding that over, if that's fine with everyone, the Zoning Update Steering Committee, my only question on this is that one of the members who was a resident and still is, Vanessa Coomerly, is now also on the Planning Commission, and whoever, I guess, Councilmember Brinkman and Davis who serve on this, does that mean we have 4 planning commissioners on this zoning update?
We
steering
have 3 official representatives from the Planning Commission. We have a 4th person who is a resident who happens to be on the Planning Commission. All the meetings of the Zoning Update Steering Committee are noticed as meetings of the Planning Commission and the City Council, just as all committees are, in case a quorum shows up, but no official Planning Commission actions can be taken. So, and it's been that way for quite a while,
Okay.
actually. I'd like to point out also that the terms of the Zoning Update Steering Committee are indefinite, so you're not making reappointments tonight. We do, however, have 1 vacancy for a business representative, and we don't have any applicants.
We need those business folks involved. Thanks, Bob, for taking notes. All right, I think that concludes for now all of the committee applicants. Thank you, council. We'll move to item 8D, which is a consideration